Giant students, welcome to my YouTube channel. Students, don't stop when you are tired. Stop when you are done. Take rest when it is necessary. But students, never stop. And after that, start doing your work. You also have to ensure that you are putting the required effort to accomplish your goal. With that positive note, students, let's begin today's session. Today we are going to mathematically verify or justify Archimedes' principle. Students, in the previous lecture, we have discussed in detail the statement of Archimedes' principle along with the law of flotation of bodies. In case you want to refer to that particular episode, I am providing you a link in the description section of this present video. So students, you can revert back to that lecture as well, right? So anyway, coming back to this particular session, we will be discussing the mathematical verification of Archimedes' principle. Now students, we are aware Archimedes' principle, it states that when a body is immersed completely or partly in a liquid, then it tends to lose in weight. And the loss in weight of the body is found to be equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by the submerged portion of the body. So this is a statement which we will try to mathematically verify, right? Now in order to verify Archimedes' principle, what we do is, let us assume a body, maybe of cubical shape, right? And suppose its weight in air or vacuum be W1. And when it is immersed in a fluid or a liquid, suppose its weight is W2, right? So let W1 be the weight of the body in air, right? In air or vacuum. And let W2 be the weight of the same body when it is completely immersed in this liquid. When completely immersed in a liquid. And students, let us consider the density of the liquid. Suppose it is rho. And the density of the material of the body is sigma, right? So sigma is the density of the material of the body under consideration, and rho is the density of the liquid in which this body is completely immersed. Now students, loss in weight of the body inside the liquid, that would be obviously W1 minus W2. We know that the weight of a body in air or vacuum is maximum. Whenever a body is immersed in a fluid, then the fluid exerts upon the body a net upward force, which is known as upthrust or buoyancy. This force is also known as buoyant force. Due to this upward force, the body loses in weight when it is immersed in a liquid. So, the loss in weight of the body inside the liquid, that would be obviously given by W1 minus W2. W1 is the weight of the body in air or vacuum. W2 is the weight of the body in the liquid when it is completely immersed. So the difference between these two, that will give us the loss in the weight of the body, right? Now students, as I've told you, when the body is immersed in the liquid, it obviously experiences an upthrust. The upthrust is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by the body. This is what we are going to prove, right? So we need to prove that the weight of the liquid displaced by the submerged portion of the body, that is actually equal to the upthrust. Clear students? Now for that, what to do is, suppose there is a body completely immersed. The top face
is at a depth x from the free surface of the liquid, and the bottom face is at a depth x plus h from the free surface of the liquid. And suppose this area, it is A. This cross-sectional area, it is A. Right? Now students, as you are aware, the pressure at the upper face of the body, the liquid will exert always a force in perpendicular direction. This is suppose F1. Here the liquid will exert a force along this direction, normal to the surface in contact. This is F2. Right? So let us find out the pressure exerted at the upper face of the body. Right? So students, pressure at the upper face of the body, suppose it is represented by P1. It would be equal to, upper face is at a depth x below the free surface of the liquid. So it is x, density of the liquid is rho multiplied by g. Right? Rho is the density of the liquid and sigma is the density of the material of the body. And similarly, the pressure at the bottom face or lower face of the body. It will be obviously suppose P2, and this bottom face, it is at a depth x plus h, right? It is at a depth of x plus h from the free surface of the liquid. So pressure is h rho g. So here the depth of this face from the free surface is x plus h multiplied by density of the liquid or fluid multiplied by acceleration due to gravity. Clear, students? Therefore, the thrust on the upper face now students, we are aware pressure is force per unit area. So force or the thrust would be pressure multiplied by area. So thrust on the upper face is suppose F1. It would be equal to the pressure at the upper face of the body multiplied by this cross-sectional area. This area is considered to be small a, isn't it? So let's substitute the value of P1 over here. We get x rho g multiplied by a, right? And it will act in the vertically downward direction. This F1, it is acting in the vertically downward direction. Also students, the thrust on the lower face of the body, I am talking about F2. So the thrust on the lower or the bottom face of the body is given by F2. It is equal to P2 multiplied by A. Area is A. So substitute this value of P2 over here. So we get x plus h rho g multiplied by A. And it is, this thrust is acting in the vertically upward direction. So it is acting vertically upwards. Now students, from F1 and F2, F1 is x rho ga, F2 is x plus h rho ga. So it's pretty evident that F2 is greater than F1. Therefore, the net thrust on the body in the upward direction is known as the upthrust. A net force acts in the upward direction, isn't it? Now since F2 is greater than F1, which implies that the net thrust acts on the body in the upward direction. And this net thrust acting on the body in the upward direction is what we call as upthrust. So net thrust acts on the body in the upward direction. And this net thrust which acts on the body in the upward direction is known as upthrust. and usually we denote the upthrust by capital letter U. So upthrust U, it would be equal to F2 minus F1. If you substitute this value, so we get x plus h rho GA minus x rho GA, right? Now try to rearrange the terms. What we get is U is equal to x rho GA minus x rho GA will get cancelled out, so we'll be left with H A rho G. Clear, students? Now here the volume of the body, it can be considered to be capital letter V. It is equal to area multiplied by height. This height of the body is H and area of the base is A. So volume would be area of the base multiplied by height. This is the volume of the body. So we can write, in place of H into A, we can write V, which is the volume of the body. Clear, students? So U is equal to V rho G, right? Therefore, U, it's equal to V rho G. This is the expression for the upthrust. Clear? Therefore, students, two forces acts on this particular body. One is, as we have discussed, net thrust acts on the body in the upward direction. This may be denoted by U. It is known as the upthrust, or it is known as the buoyant force. This U represents buoyant force, and it is found to be V rho G. V is the volume of the body. Rho is the density of the liquid in which this body is immersed. G is the acceleration due to gravity. And the second force acting in the vertically downward direction is the weight of the body. That is considered to be W1, the weight of the body in air or vacuum. And it will be given by the mass of the body multiplied by acceleration due to gravity. Clear, students? So the body is acted upon only by two forces. One is the weight of the body acting vertically downwards, which is W1 equals to mg. The other one is upthrust, which is due to the liquid in which it is immersed, and it acts in the vertically upward direction. Therefore, students, the apparent weight of the body is given by the apparent weight of the body in the liquid is given by that we have considered to be W2. It will be equal to mg minus V rho G. Mg is W1. W1 minus upthrust, or we can write W1 minus W2 is equal to upthrust. Clear, students? That is W1 minus W2 is equal to the loss in weight of the body. It is equal to upthrust, and it is equal to V rho G. And students, now please concentrate on this statement. V, as we have discussed, capital V, it is the volume of the body under consideration, right? Now V multiplied by rho. Rho is the density of the liquid. So whatever is the volume of the body, the same volume of the liquid will get displaced, isn't it? So volume of the liquid displaced is also capital V, same as that of the volume of the body, which is completely immersed inside the liquid. So capital V, which is the volume of the body, it is also equal to the volume of the liquid displaced. So students, volume of the liquid displaced multiplied by the density of the liquid, that will give us mass of the liquid displaced. And mass of the liquid displaced multiplied by acceleration due to gravity, that will give us weight of the liquid displaced. Clear? So V stands for volume of the liquid displaced. Volume of liquid displaced. Right? V is the volume of the body, which when completely immersed, it will be equal to the volume of the liquid displaced. Rho is the density of the liquid in which the body is immersed, and G is obviously acceleration due to gravity. Right? Therefore, students, what we get is volume of the liquid displaced multiplied by density of the liquid. Volume into density is mass of the liquid displaced. It is mass of liquid displaced multiplied by acceleration due to gravity. Now mass of the liquid displaced multiplied by small g, it will be equal to the weight of the liquid displaced. Weight of the liquid displaced. So this is what Archimedes' principle is all about, right? So students, what's the statement which we have proved over here is whenever a body is immersed completely or partly in a liquid, then what happens? The body tends to lose in weight inside the liquid. And the loss in weight of the body inside the liquid is equal to the upthrust, which in turn is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by the submerged portion of the body. So that's the mathematical verification of Archimedes' principle. And we can also verify it experimentally as well, as we have discussed in the previous lecture. Now students, let us discuss some practical applications of Archimedes' principle. Now Archimedes' principle, it can be applied to find out either the volume of a body, which is maybe irregular in shape. It may also be used to determine the specific gravity. Specific gravity of the material is also known as the relative density actually, right? And also it can be used to determine the condition of flotation of a body, right? So let's start with its practical applications. Let's consider the first case. First is to determine the volume of a body. To find the volume of an irregular shaped body. Now students, just now we have discussed, if we consider W1 be the weight of the body in air and suppose W2 be the weight of the body in water, right? So let W1, it is weight of the body in air and suppose W2 is weight of the body in water. Now suppose V is the volume of the body. If the body is completely immersed in water, then V would also be the volume of the water displaced. Clear students? So suppose V is the volume of the body which is completely immersed. Then as per the Archimedes principle, just now we have discussed, W1 minus W2, it is the loss in weight of the body when it is immersed in liquid. So it is given by V rho G. This is as per Archimedes principle. So we know that the loss in weight of the body when it is completely immersed in a liquid is equal to upthrust, which is V rho G. V is the volume of the body, which is also equal to the volume of the water displaced. Rho is the density of the water, so V rho becomes the mass of the water displaced, and when multiplied by G, it will become weight of the water displaced by the submerged portion of the body. Clear students? So from here, what we get is the volume V of the body can be easily determined. So it will be equal to W1 minus W2 divided by rho G. Now students, we can easily measure W1 and W2. And knowing the density of the liquid, suppose in case of water, the density of liquid is known. Density of water is 10 raised to power 3, that is 1000 kg per meter cube, isn't it? So knowing the value of W1, W2 and rho, and the value small g can be taken as 9.8 meter per second square, and substituting these values, we can easily get the value of V, which is the volume of the body. So using this formula, we can easily determine the volume of any irregular shaped body. Now students, as discussed, Archimedes' principle can also be used to determine the specific gravity of the material of the solid. And as I've stated, specific gravity of the material is also known as the relative density, right? So actually, the specific gravity, I'll denote it by SG, specific gravity, or relative density, RD, it stands for relative density. It is actually defined as the ratio of the weight of the body in air divided by the weight of the water displaced by the body. Displaced by the body. Now students, we are aware weight of the water displaced by the body is actually the upthrust, right? And upthrust is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by the submerged portion of the body. And we are aware upthrust is equal to W1 minus W2, which is the apparent loss of weight of this body in water. So it may also be written as the specific gravity or relative density of the material of the body is also defined as the ratio of the weight of the body in air to the apparent loss of weight of the body in water. To the apparent loss of weight of body in water, right? Therefore, mathematically, the specific gravity or the relative density of the material of the body may be written as weight of the body in air, that is considered to be W1, divided by apparent loss of weight of the body in water, that is W1 minus W2, which is also equal to the weight of the water displaced by the body, which is actually the upthrust, right? So this is the formula for the specific gravity or relative density. Clear, students? Also, the relative density, we are aware, it is also given by this formula. It is actually the ratio of the density of the substance to the density of water at 4 degrees Celsius. Density of water at 4 degrees Celsius. At 4 degrees Celsius, the density of water is 1000 kg per meter cube, right? Since specific gravity or relative density, it is the ratio of two similar physical quantities. Therefore, it is a dimensionless quantity having no units. Clear, students? When a body floats in a liquid with a part submerged in the liquid, then the weight of the liquid displaced by the submerged portion of the body is always equal to the weight of the body. This is the condition for the flotation of a body. So basically, students, Archimedes' principle can also be used to determine the condition whether the body floats or sinks. So it can be used to determine the condition of flotation of a body. So let's try to discuss the condition mathematically. Suppose, students, it's a liquid of density rho. And suppose it is a body of density sigma. And V is the volume of the body, the entire volume of the body, capital V. Suppose V is the volume of the body. And sigma is the density of the body. Suppose sigma is the density of the body, right? Also, let us consider small v to be the volume of the body which is in air, which is outside the liquid. Small v is the volume of the body outside the liquid. Clear? So, the volume capital V minus small v. This is the volume of the body which is inside the liquid. Clear, students? So, basically, weight of the liquid displaced. The weight of the liquid displaced. Weight is m into g. So weight of the liquid displaced is mass of the liquid displaced multiplied by small g. And mass of the liquid displaced is volume of the liquid displaced. Now volume of the body which is submerged inside this liquid is capital V minus small v. So the volume of the liquid displaced would be capital V minus small v. And when this volume of this liquid displaced is multiplied with the density of the liquid, then it becomes mass of the liquid displaced. And when this mass of the liquid displaced get multiplied with small g, then it becomes weight of the liquid displaced. And students, weight of the liquid displaced is actually equal to the upthrust, isn't it? Also, the weight of the body is weight of the body. It is equal to weight of this entire body. It is m into g. Mass of the body. Mass of the body is volume of the body multiplied by the density of the body. What is the volume of the body? It is V. What is the density of the body? It is sigma. And small g, it is the acceleration due to gravity. So this is the weight of the body. Now, for a body to float, now we are aware when a body is immersed in a liquid, it is under the influence of two forces. One is the net thrust acting in the upward direction, which is known as upthrust, and the other is its actual weight. Right? Now, a body will float only when the weight of the body is exactly equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by the submerged part, which is equal to the upthrust, isn't it? So for a body to float, weight of the body must be equal to upthrust. And upthrust is nothing but the weight of the liquid displaced. Actually, weight of the liquid displaced is upthrust. This is U. So, substituting these values over here, we get V sigma G. It would be equal to capital V minus small v rho G. G get cancelled. So therefore what we get is V sigma is equal to capital V minus small v into rho. Sigma is the density of the material of the body under consideration. Rho is the density of the liquid in which the body is immersed. Right? Capital V is the volume of the body, volume of the entire body. Small v is the volume of the body which is outside the liquid. Clear? So capital V minus small v would be the volume of the body which is immersed inside the liquid. So students, basically the condition of flotation of a body theoretically is when a body floats in a liquid with a part submerged in the liquid, then the weight of the liquid displaced by the submerged portion of the body, it should be exactly equal to the weight of the body. That is when the body can float. Let us try to attempt these basic questions based on Archimedes' principle. First question is, a body floats with 2/5 part of its volume above the surface of water. Suppose this is the body under consideration and it is immersed in the water partly. And in the question it is given that 2/5 of its volume above the surface of the water. So this portion is 2/5 of the total volume, right? So the fraction of the volume that is completely immersed inside the liquid would be 3/5 of its total volume. Clear, students? We are supposed to find out the density of the material of the body. Suppose the density of the material body is sigma and the density of the liquid, that is water, is rho. Now students, this body is floating, and for a body to float, the weight of the body must be equal to the weight of the water displaced, right? So, as per the Archimedes principle of flotation, the weight of the body, it must be equal to the weight of the water displaced by the submerged portion of the body. So, weight of the body, it is mass into G. Mass is volume into density. So volume, total volume of the body is V. Density of the body is sigma into G, right? And it is equal to the weight of the water displaced. Weight of the water displaced would be equal to the mass of the water displaced multiplied by small g. Mass of the water displaced is volume of the water displaced multiplied by the density of the water. Now volume of the water displaced would be equal to the volume of the body which is immersed inside water, that is 3/5V. 3/5V multiplied by density of the water, that is rho, multiplied by G. Clear, students? Now we are supposed to find out the density of the material of the body, that is sigma is to be found. So small g get cancelled, V get cancelled. Therefore sigma, which is the density of the material of the body, it is equal to 3/5 into density of water. So that will give you 3/5 multiplied by the density of water in SI is 1000 kg per meter cube, isn't it? The density of water is 10⁻³ kg per meter cube in SI. So that will give you 600 kg per meter cube. So the density of the material of the body under consideration is 600 kg per meter cube. Clear, students? Okay. Now let us proceed to the next question. This is very, very important one and good one too. Now as per this question, it is given that a body weighs 25 gram force in air and 20 gram force in water, right? What would be its weight in a liquid of density 0.8 gram per centimeter cube? It's in CGS. So first and foremost, we should be aware to convert this gram force in dynes. 1 gram force is equal to 980 dyne. This is the gravitational CGS unit of force, right? So students, what to do is, let us consider, let us write down the given fact. Weight of the body in air. Weight of the body in air. This we have considered to be W1. It is 25 GF, gram force, that is 25 into 980 dyne, isn't it? Similarly, weight of the body in water. Now, this is considered to be W2. It is given to be 20 gram force. 20 gram force is 20 multiplied by 980 dyne. Clear? Now, if V is the volume of the body, if V is the volume and rho be the density, V be the volume and rho be the density of water, then we are aware the loss in the weight of the body in water, it's equal to the upthrust. Upthrust is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by the body, which is V rho G. This we have already mathematically verified, isn't it? So volume of the body under consideration, it would be equal to W1 minus W2 divided by rho G. So if you substitute this value over here, W1 is 25 multiplied by 980 minus W2 is 20 multiplied by 980 divided by, we are considering CGS system, isn't it? Rho is the density. Density of water in CGS, it's 1 gram per centimeter cube. In CGS, the density of water is 1 gram per centimeter cube, and in SI, the density of water is 10⁻3, that is 1000 kg per meter cube. Here, all the values are being considered in CGS. So, density of water in CGS is 1. The value of acceleration due to gravity in CGS is 980. So, 980 is common, it will get cancelled. So, we get 25 minus 20 by 1. So, that will give us 5. And in CGS, the unit of volume would be centimeter cube. Right? So students, the volume of the body under consideration is 5 centimeter cube. Put this as equation number 1. This is the result which we'll be making use of. Okay. Now let us consider rho dash. Suppose rho dash be the density of this liquid. Rho dash be the density of another liquid which is given to be 0.8 gram per centimeter cube, right? Rho dash, it is given to be in CGS, its value is given to be 0.8 gram per centimeter cube. Now students, when the body is immersed in this liquid, then the weight of the body in this liquid is weight of the body in this liquid of density rho dash is, we can consider it to be W2 dash. It is equal to weight of the body in air or vacuum minus the upthrust. Upthrust, as we are aware, it is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by the body. It will be V. In this case, the density of the liquid under consideration is rho dash multiplied by G, isn't it? Therefore, W2 dash, we are supposed to find out the weight of the body in this liquid. That is, W2 dash is to be found. That is equal to W1. W1 is the weight of the body in air, that is 25 into 980 dyne in CGS minus volume of the body, this we have calculated to be 5. Density of this particular liquid, which is given to be 0.8. And the value of small g acceleration due to gravity in CGS is 980. So it will be equal to 25 minus 5, that is 21 multiplied by 980 dyne. That is 21 gram force. So therefore students, the weight of this body when immersed in a liquid of density 0.8 gram per centimeter cube would be equal to 21 gram force. Right? So students, I hope you have understood these questions. Right? So that's it for this particular session, and keep watching my videos. Do join me in my next lecture then. Till then, do take very good care of yourself and keep smiling and have that positive spirit towards your life. Thank you.